It's time for game 1 of tonight, and it is going to be between Czech Prime Lee versus Complexity MVP Tails.
Yep, and Tails, really talented Protoss player. We saw him win out against, who was it? Cybernation's Sarens.
I don't think I casted that game, so.
Oh man, it was a great series, and well. No.
Yes. Have your sip of water. It's important. We're all about being healthy today. Getting fresh air, getting lots of hydration. What are you staring at?
I'm trying to think of the game that I casted, and it just totally blanked on me. Oh, okay, there we go.
Tails versus Sarens.
Yeah, Tails versus Sarens. I was trying to think of what actually happened in the game.
No.
But Sarens played a phenomenal macro style on Metalopolis. He actually hit Tails with 2 nukes, killed like 35 probes, had some
Sarens
amazing,
hit Tails with 2 nukes. Okay.
Had some amazing early game Reaper harass, and still ended up losing the game to Tails's mass Archon Zealot style. And he's all about his Archons. Tails is one of those players that he'll get High Templar, and he doesn't even research Storm. He just constantly morphs High Templar into Archons.
Okay, and you know what, Pain User? Archons are actually really good against not only Terran, but they're also really good against Zerg. So, if Tails is able to survive the nuclear holocaust, I'm sure he's going to put up a great game against Czech's Zerg Swarm style. And by the way, guys, Czech is a very good Zerg player. He's been around since the beta. I believe he's playing in Code A right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pain User. But he is still a very talented Zerg. He was not as prominent as he was early in the beta, but he's still very good. And you know what? I'm looking forward to a really good ZVP. We won't see any nukes, but we're going to see some pretty holy Czech.
Yeah, he's really good, man.
Yeah.
He's a super. What's his name?
Czech Prime.
Baboom Prime. That's
sounds
the
like
account he's playing
sounds like
on.
an orangutan or something.
I thought it was Baboom
it's like
Prime
hanging away
for a
from like
second.
trees, Tarzan status.
It's Baboom Prime. And he will open up with a quick pool followed by a hatch. And is that a Nexus first? No, I don't think so. Forge first into
Forge
Nexus.
first.
And he will get a cannon down. Now, we've seen TT1 actually recently using a build where you can get Nexus first and you can still get a cannon up in time before the lings from a 14 pool get to the front of your base, I believe. So he has that build timed out perfectly. And we see the Koreans still using Forge into Nexus here, and I think that's just possibly to have the potential for some cannon cheese if you need to.
Yeah, that's really good point, Pain User. I mean, a lot of times Protoss players will open Forge up first for 2 reasons. They can get those cannons up to defend against the 14 pool really easily. No problems at all, actually. And they can also use it as an offensive purpose, because if a Zerg, dare I say, goes 15 hatch, that's going to get shut down really quick. And that's why nowadays, in today's Zerg playstyle, you don't see 15 hatch against Protoss anymore.
We have seen a lot of players lose when they open up 15 hatch to the Forge first style. Just mass pylons everywhere.
Mass pylons, mass cannons in your face,
everywhere.
boom!
And there's so many different places you can trap cannons in the back behind the mineral line.
It's pretty nasty.
That are just unreachable for the Zerg. You have to pull like 6-8 drones just to take care of something like that. And
yeah, it hurts your economy a lot.
goodness!
Oh wow, Czech here going for a 3rd hatchery right away, but the probe scouts it.
That's such a fast 3rd.
Did Czech see the Nexus first? He did. So he knows that Tails went for the Nexus right away, and he wants to play an economic game. He wants to get that early hatchery, and he wants to play 3 base Zerg to 2 base Protoss. So I actually really like it. He just needs to make sure he gets his drone saturated on all 3 bases.
Yeah, he did that crazy fast though. I mean, stopped mining after he got ling speed, only 32 additional gas, and then just went straight for that 3rd. Generally, we will see players drone up a little bit more and then eventually take that 3rd.
Yeah.
But interesting.
The one thing that Czech will have to worry about, Pain User, is since Tails scouted that 3rd hatchery, a typical response from Protoss players will be just to 6-gate if they see that 3rd hatchery that early, because if you think about it from a Protoss mindset, the Zerg player is not going to have that many forces out on the field, and after expanding right away, a 6-gate can do a lot of damage, and you have the option of hitting not just the natural, but also the 3rd.
Very true. 6-gate +1 timing pushes. We even see some players go up to 7 or 8 gate.
Once it gets there, it's just all in.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. They cut probes as well, and
save chrono boost,
multiple offensive pylons, and
they knock on your door and say, "Surprise, Zerg!"
It's a pretty decent build. It's just it's a little bit risky, I feel, but if you have it down and you have it well timed out, and here we have three additional gateways coming.
4 total.
Yeah, nothing too crazy yet. We should see either a Robo or a Twilight pretty soon, and the Twilight is going to come down, so I think we're going to see some pretty early blink here.
Stalkers, yeah.
Probably going to get a lot of Stalkers out.
Looks like he's probably gearing up for a bunch of Blink Stalkers, as you said before. I mean, Dark Templar is possible as well, but not as likely. I'd like to see how many more gateways he throws down. I would imagine he's going to go up to 5 or so pretty soon, and then he's going to move out across the map with Blink Stalkers. And you know what? I think this map is actually pretty good for Blink Stalkers as well. A lot of places where Stalkers can abuse the terrain and blink behind these little crevices, ledges. They can move around the map really easily from the natural to the third. I think they're going to be really mobile and very effective.
Yeah, he actually has a lot of Zealots.
And there's
there
a Dark
we have
Shrine
the Dark
coming
Shrine.
up.
So he is going to go with DTs, and that also gives him the potential for Archons.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful here, though. There are quite a few Roaches. They are off creep now, so these Zealots will be able to outrun them and get back home. One Speedling. Why did he pull that Zealot back? He's just like the Virgin Sacrifice, or what?
He is the Virgin Mary, man. He's going in for the ultimate sacrifice. Wow. Nice force fields. 3 Roaches still chasing down. They pop off a sentry, actually. And you know what? Check's main purpose here is to pick off as many sentries as possible. These are the most expensive and most valuable units. Is Tails going to lose another sentry? That's huge! Yep. And he does. Cutting that sentry count down by about 66%. And that is really big in the early game.
Yeah, no doubt. Killing those 2 sentries almost for free is... he'll take that, I'm sure. And now we have Check rolling into the natural here. Gonna try and do a little bit of damage. He's not really all inning here.
Shrine is almost done, Pain User.
Does he have an offensive pylon? I believe he does.
Most definitely has double the offensive pylons, yeah.
And that
double trouble, Pain User.
Could be the nail in the coffin. I mean, is Check ready for this? Let's scan around for some Overseers.
He's making Spores and Spines at just the right time. How does he know that there's a Dark Shrine coming? He just doesn't. He just knows the timing that well. Wow. So smart, man. That is really good game sense.
Yeah, that's really impressive. Are they going to get up in time, though?
I think so.
They might not.
Well, the ones at the natural are definitely going to be ready. And he's blocking the Spore Crawler, too. Beautiful play. Only a few drones will go down. However, there's another DT. 2 DTs running up to the main. No ramp blockage. And, oh, 1 DT gets popped off at the last second.
God.
The Spore's going up at the natural just in time.
That was
so
down
clutch.
To the second timing right there from Check. Just so impressive.
I know.
It's not every day that you see something like that happen. That was... absolutely perfect game sense on his part. He didn't even scout it. He just knows the timings that well. And honestly, it's kind of a weird timing. It's not like he forged fast expanded straight into DTs or anything like that. It's not like he opened, you know, 1 gate DT into expand.
Yeah, he didn't do the DT expand that a lot of Protosses are doing right now.
That was a 4 gate into DT, and he still knew the timing on it? Like, what?
You know, I think he was able to tell based on the high amount of Zealots and low amount of sentries that pushed out, and he thought to himself, that Protoss player isn't using all of his gas. So
no Stalkers.
What is he investing his gas into? And the only things that come to mind, if there's already this many Zealots out, is probably DTs or Templar tech, some Templar tech of some sort. So that's just really good game sense by Check. I'm sure he breathed a sigh of relief right there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Especially when he caught those two on the ramp.
Yeah, that was close.
I thought they were actually going to get into the main there, and the Lings closed off the ramp, blocked it, killed both of those High Templar, or Dark Templar rather, excuse me.
Kind of breathing a sigh of relief right now for Check as well, man. Oh yes, dude, we have 11 Hydralisks on the way for Check here. I think Check is going to go for a base bust off of all his Roaches and Hydras because he's getting a bunch of upgrades at time with this as well. And let's hope he gets that in before Colossus Tech comes out. Because
might not be the best time to add Hydralisks into the mix here.
How do Hydralisks do against Colossus?
Oh, God. I mean, it's interesting to watch. Let's just say that at the very least.
It's like killing Womp Rats with my T-16 back home.
Skywalker. There it is.
Here comes Check. I've been watching up my movies, man. Getting my quotes right.
There it is.
Here it is. So Czech Prime is going to go in for a possible sweep into the third. Nope, going to be deflected by 2 photon cannons. And MVP
Oh, wow, he's
Tails
actually
not
committing here.
revealing his Colossus.
He has a lot of units here. I don't know if Tails has what it takes to hold
Oh,
this
he can
off.
go on the high ground.
He's going for the Nexus. It might go down.
I
Oh,
think
man.
the Nexus isn't going to go down, though the Colossus is getting really forward of itself, but it's going to laser down a bunch of Hydras,
Oh
and
my
Tails can
God.
just run it up to that little plateau. A second Colossus joining the fray, and oh no,
The
Czech's
Colossus
forces
is absolutely
Czech's
abusing the
forces
Hydralisks.
are getting incinerated.
Well, he does have reinforcements coming in here, though.
It's just Hydras, though. A couple
Tails
of
with a
roaches.
very, very good position there at the Nexus. Now, he needs to be a little bit careful here. There's a lot of Stalkers.
I love the Overlords coming in. That's going to spot the high ground.
I think he made a huge mistake right there, losing that Colossus earlier on in the fight. He would have 2 Colossus right now if he had kept that Colossus alive.
At the very least, though, I think that Tails is going to be able to repel the Zerg attack. At least for now, but then Roach is reinforcing coming in right now, and it looks like Czech going to continue this push. We have a little bit of a tug of war right here, Pain User.
Czech is going to shut him down here.
It's
just
be
too much
close.
pressure, and he's working off of 1, 2, 3, 4, I think maybe 5 hatcheries right now.
But Zealots to the rescue, warping in right behind the Hydras. That's huge. And the Hydras getting preoccupied by Zealots, and Czech is going to kill the Colossus, but not going to be able to pick off the Nexus.
Another Colossus joining in here from the main. He did come out of the Robo. He's made his way over to this Nexus to try and save. If Tails can hold on here, he might be able to work his way back into this game. But right now, Czech just so far ahead.
He needs to be careful with this Colossus. Pain User can't afford to lose this. He needs this for the next wave of Zerg attacks, and he's migrating it to the back behind the Assimilator in the mineral line. Roaches are chasing it down. The Colossus is at 50 HP, 30 HP, and it will barely survive.
Oh my god.
No way.
3 HP on that Colossus.
It goes the distance. I think it could go down now.
The Nexus is going to go down.
Oh
Roach
my
is
goodness.
getting burned alive here, but they're doing their job, and Czech just does not care. He's suiciding all of his forces. He does not have a care in the world at this point, just throwing away army after army. He wants those Colossus. He wants to deny the third, and he's done both of those things. And with that, I think he might have been able to seal this game, and what a solid game from Czech.
I like the high aggressive Zerg play that we saw from Czech. I
mean,
really think that attacking and not stopping, there's this theory behind StarCraft is when you think you've got your opponent's back almost broken, keep applying pressure and it's going to eventually break. Either that or you're going to lose the game.
Yeah.
So he decided he wanted to find a conclusion right here and now rather than waiting it out and playing a macro game, and it's working out beautifully for him. It looks like Tails losing the Nexus once again. This is Tails' last hope, but the Colossus encounters a Corruptor in the middle of the field, and that is going to repel it all the way back. Tails is losing ground right now, and Czech continuing to push even into the natural, not giving up here. He really wants to end the game, and he's going to do it, I think.
I think he is as well. Just so much damage being done by this constant wave of roaches, and did you mean to say there that there's a common saying in StarCraft, when you're ahead, get farther ahead, and Czech did not do that? Or were you trying to
I
say
meant to say there's a theory in StarCraft, when you're about to kill someone, you go for it.
Oh, go for the throat, like July Zerg style.
Yes,
absolutely.
Go for that jugular, man.
I was
the Bobcat.
It's weird because right before you said that, I was thinking to myself, this is a perfect example of when the rule, when you're ahead, get further ahead, does not apply. The Artosis rule does not apply here. We saw Czech just go up to 3 base. He had the slight advantage after he held off the DTs. He could have taken a 4th, continued to macro, build up a gigantic army, taken a 5th, continued to macro, but no. He dropped a 4th hatchery. He didn't saturate it. He rallied everything straight to the 3rd, and he straight up destroyed Tails' 3rd here, and now he's at 200 supply. Tails is at 89. And he has a huge lead in this game.
Yes, a ginormous lead in this game. Huge is an understatement. And I just want to go back to another idea as well. As a lot of Zerg players feel that when you're dealing with the late game Protoss, it's very hard to beat unless you mix in Infestors in your army. And since Czech didn't go Infestors at all, we do have the conclusion of the game about to come, by the way, guys. But since Czech didn't go for Infestors at all, I think he really wanted to trade armies with Tails and just constantly attack him and outright, if that didn't work, win the game. So he made it work, man, and he is busting through the natural right now. It looks like Tails is losing everything, and Tails is going to call the GG.